AJ, contrarian with an opinion, ideas and attitude.
AJ on AJ Weekly, the Not So Weekly podcast.
Have you ever watched a movie that critics called a masterpiece, only to sit there wondering, did we even watch the same film? It happened to me again recently. I spent 3 hours waiting for a movie to become brilliant. The credits rolled, and all I could think was, I want my evening back. Then I opened the reviews. 5 stars, masterpiece, visionary, one of the greatest films ever made. At that moment, I wasn't questioning the movie. I was questioning the reviewers. Before we go any further, let's separate 2 very different claims. Claim number 1. Some critics are influenced by the industry they cover. Claim number 2. Every positive review is bought and paid for. Those are not the same thing. The first has evidence behind it. The second requires evidence most people simply don't have. But that doesn't mean the system deserves a free pass. Think about how entertainment journalism works. Studios invite critics to advance screenings. They provide interviews, access to actors, directors, film festivals, exclusive events. None of this automatically creates corruption, but it creates relationships, and relationships change incentives. If your career depends on being invited back, you may think twice before becoming the person who burns every bridge, not because someone handed you a suitcase full of cash, because human beings naturally respond to incentives. Economists have a saying, show me the incentive and I'll show you the outcome. Hollywood isn't unique. Political journalism works this way. Technology journalism works this way. Sports journalism works this way. Access matters. Now, critics and audiences often aren't judging the same thing. A critic may admire camera movement, lighting, editing, or historical references, maybe narrative structure and technical ambition. The average moviegoer asks a much simpler question. Was I entertained? Those aren't identical standards, and that's why sometimes a movie receives glowing critical praise, while audiences leave disappointed. Then there's hype. Marketing doesn't begin on opening weekend. It starts months earlier. Exclusive trailers, feature articles, interviews, behind-the-scenes documentaries, also sometimes festival premieres, and mostly social media campaigns. Every piece reinforces one message. This is an event. By opening night, some people aren't just watching a film, they're participating in a cultural moment that changes expectations. Then we have aggregate websites, Rotten Tomatoes, Metacritic. They're useful, but they're also misunderstood. A 95% Rotten Tomatoes score doesn't mean a movie is nearly perfect. It means 95% of critics gave it a positive review. Those are very different things. A film that everyone thinks is pretty good can score higher than one that half the critics believe is an absolute masterpiece and the other half think is terrible. The number hides disagreement. Now let's address the elephant in the room. Can critics lose access? Sometimes yes. Studios control screenings, interviews, press opportunities. That is simply how the business operates. But does that prove critics are secretly coordinating glowing reviews? No. There's no convincing evidence that the industry as a whole pays critics to praise directors or blacklist every reviewer who writes a negative review. In fact, major directors, including Christopher Nolan, Martin Scorsese, Steven Spielberg, and others, have all received harsh reviews from established critics over the years. The reality is usually more subtle than a conspiracy. People adapt to incentives, sometimes without even realizing it. So, what should you do? Simple. Stop outsourcing your opinion. Read critics. Read audience reviews. Watch reviewers who disagree with each other. Then make up your own mind. The best critic for your taste is you. Not that critics are wrong, not that audiences are wrong. The issue is believing one group has a monopoly on truth. Movies are art. Art is subjective. Your experience matters, even if it goes against the consensus. And maybe that's the bigger lesson, whether we're talking about politics, news, science, or movies. Always ask one question. Who benefits if I stop thinking for myself? The revolution is being televised. Question is, are you watching?